Welcome to Out of Bounds Ski and Board. Today, Rossignol rep Travis Rollins tells us Rossignol snowboard performance technology, designed and proven to enhance your skills for expert and intermediate snowboarders. Here's Travis.
I'm Travis with Rossignol Snowboards, and this is your 25-26 Rossignol Snowboard Clinic. Let's dive into snowboards. Rossignol Snowboards has two bits of tech that kind of make our product stand out in the snowboard world. Those bits of tech are Serrated Edge aims, but basically what we're working with here is extra contact points along the edge. This helps to create a whole bunch of extra cut through hard packed snow, extra edge hold, extra grip, all of those good things, all that stuff that you want on 90% of the days that we're out riding. So we do this in a couple different variations, and variations being the number of extra contact points that we give you. So every board in this shop is going to have a minimum of 2 contact points, that nose contact point and tail contact point. And then we're going to add in extra contact points in between there. So we're going to say that boards either have 3S, 5S, or 7S serrated edge. And that's going to be the total number of contact points on the board, so 3, 5, or 7. When I talk to a customer about serrated edge, I kind of do what I just did here and talk about the big benefits of it, creating extra edge hold, things like that. And I show it to them by having them look down the edge of the snowboard, kind of like put it right in their face like this, have them look down it. And then you'll be able to see those kind of waves. And then I might put it on the ground like this as well, and show them how once it's up on edge, those extra contact points are making contact with the snow and helping to cut through firmer snow. Cool. Questions on serrated edge? Great. The other bit of tech that makes Rossignol stand out is called LITE Frame. So on some of our more powder freeride shapes, are all mountain shapes like the One, the Diva, and then the After Hours / Shimi and XV. We take some of the wood core out and we replace it with a high density urethane. That urethane is a little lighter and a little softer than wood. And so really the big difference here is when you're getting it up on edge, when you're transitioning edge to edge, you just have all of this energy dampening happening as you're transferring energy from yourself to the boots and bindings to the edge of the board. Before it gets to the edge, it hits this LITE frame, and it just kind of slows things down and makes it feel a little more comfortable underfoot on some firmer snow as you're trying to get to the powder, whatever fell last night. So we have LITE Frame on last year's After Hours here, and I can kind of try and show you with some light here. But here you can see where some of that wood core has been replaced. And this is usually going to happen all the way around the edge of the board, create this dampening effect all the way throughout the board. On the women's side, we have the Airis. The Airis is honestly, the Airis with its men's counterpart, the Resurgence. This is kind of my favorite piece that Rossignol has designed, and it's just kind of like, I think it gives an intermediate rider everything that they could ask for. And you'll see here how we start to build the board from the middle out, and we're really trying to help teach that beginner rider how to learn some more advanced riding techniques. So the Airis is going to be a women's directional twin. You're going to have sintered base, you're going to have 5 points of contact, you're going to have 5S serrated edge. We're going to move from a 30 to a 50% camber zone. So that camber zone is now going to be almost to the edge of the insert packs. It's going to go on the Marikey and the sole side. It was 0.5 millimeter of camber. Now we're up to 1.5 millimeters of camber. So more camber, bigger zone on the board. The serrated edge is going to be concentrated in between the insert packs. So when I show this to the customer and I have them look down it, we'll notice that inside the insert packs are those 3rd, 4th, and 5th contact points. In addition to that, we're going to take some basalt fiber and we're going to lay that in between the insert packs here. So now if you notice, like I said, we're going to build the board from the middle out, and hopefully we can see that that's where we added everything that we added to this board. We added more contact points in between the feet. We added more camber in between the feet. We added some more stiffness between the feet with those basalt fibers. And we're trying to teach this rider how to put their front foot down and really start engaging that camber zone, engaging the serrated edge, and basically just teaching that rider how to be more of an advanced rider. And so the way that we take this intermediate board and kind of keep the tip and tail soft and playful, a little bit of extra float with the setback stance, is really just, I think, a great offering for the intermediate customer, and will really help them, a lot. So, questions on the Airis? Awesome. All right, lastly, on the women's side, we have that after hours that we kind of started talking about in the beginning. This is going to be powder free ride directional. So we're going to have slightly stiffer tail, a lot of extra nose, a lot of rocker in the nose. Again, we're going to be in that 50% camber zone, 1.5 to 2 millimeters of camber in that zone. And we're going to have that LITE Frame to help kind of keep things soft and damp and playful on hard pack. And since this is more of a powder board, we're going to take the serrated edge out and kind of reduce the amount of drag in soft snow. Cool. Questions? Awesome. All right. Last board that we have is going to be on the men's side, and it's going to be the Revenant. And this is the newest board in the line, and this board is pretty sweet. So what you've got here is a camber dominant kind of all mountain directional twin. So the key points to this board are going to be sintered base, 5S serrated edge, 90% camber, little bit of early rise rocker in the tip and tail. That camber is going to be 5 mils of camber, kind of like the maximum amount of camber that we put in any board. And then that 5S serrated edge, again, is going to be in between the insert packs. Now, the coolest part, in my opinion, about this board is the carbon stringers. We might be able to see them if I flip it over. You might be able to see a little bit of outline there. But it's going to be 9 stringers that are going to run through the insert packs here in the center of the board, right under the Rossignol logo right there. And then they're going to Y out to the contact points, both at the tip and the tail. So like I said, directional twin, you're going to be set back a little bit. And those stringers are going to make it so that you have this nice like poppy sweet spot in this area at the tip and the tail, kind of where that Y is happening. But then the tip and tail are going to be soft and playful because those stringers kind of fade out at the contact points. Now, with that being said, having them run through the center as well is going to really create a good amount of stiffness in between the board there, or in between the feet there and torsionally. And then where this all really comes together, in my opinion, is when you get it up on edge. And when you get it up on edge, if you think about it, you've got the stringers running through the insert pack here and then Ying out to the contact points, almost creating this pocket. And that pocket, because carbon is so reactive, it's a very reactive pocket that really shoots you out and into the next turn. And it's kind of balanced out with that serrated edge, creating that extra edge hold. So for a directional twin, it really holds an edge like something that you would expect to have a much higher price point, something that's really kind of designed for carving. So I think that the way that this came together was super cool. And it's also the first board in our line that is using a bio-based resin. We're going to be moving one board per year to a more sustainable resin. And just the way that the materials are all held together, it's going to just be better in the long run. So this is the first board that we're doing with this bio-based resin. That's kind of an in-house blend. And yeah, that's the Revenant. Super cool board.